This program brought to you by the Mazda Dealer Group, Pilot high-performance pens and markers, and Dating the Enemy, out now at Video Easy.
Kevin Waitley stars in Britain's most loved drama.
Could charm the birds off the trees, he could.
9:30 Saturday on 10. Peak Practice.
Tonight's late news, brought to you by the Hyundai Coupe, a car that's not for the faint-hearted.
Heading the late night news. Homes destroyed and hundreds evacuated as bushfires continue to blaze across Victoria. Alleged pedophile Philip Bell to remain in a South African jail until his extradition hearing next month. And highways of hell, a court told truck drivers rely on drugs to stay awake on the roads.
The Late Night News with Sandra Sully.
Good evening. First tonight, at least 35 homes have been destroyed in Melbourne's worst fires since the 1983 Ash Wednesday disaster. One person has died after several fires swept through the Dandenong Ranges east of Melbourne. Firefighters are hoping a late, cool change will also bring rain early tomorrow morning.
Firefighters could do nothing to save this home in the Dandenong Ranges, one of almost 40 houses wiped out in the inferno.
We sort of did a good save up the other one there that was just about going through the roof, and then we come around here and you feel sorry for the poor people who've lost this one.
More than 700 firefighters battled several blazes, the intensity of the fires often overwhelming, many suffering exhaustion and dehydration. Police evacuated around 500 residents. Most will spend the night in makeshift shelters. However, some ignored pleas to abandon their homes.
Well, I live up here for 10 years and let your house go.
How close is it getting?
Well, ours is the next one down.
Desperate attempts to control the fires this evening as two South Australian super scoopers flew into the battle zone, dropping tons of water. The cause of the fires isn't known. However, it is believed police have arrested 2 people suspected of starting fires. At Arthur's Seat on the Mornington Peninsula, tourists and residents were evacuated when a blaze broke out this afternoon. Homes were threatened but escaped the wrath of the fire. Late this evening, some long-awaited relief, with a cool change giving firefighters the break they needed. However, substantial rainfall isn't expected until the morning. Fire authorities say the fires have been contained, but are still not under control. Fire crews will remain in the area throughout the night and patrol the affected areas for several days. And late tonight, police confirmed a 61-year-old woman has become the fire's first fatality. Her body was found in her Tremont home in the Dandenong Ranges this evening. Darren Lunny, 10 News.
And Melbourne's searing weather conditions forced the unprecedented closure of the centre court roof at the Australian Tennis Open. After 2 days of 40-plus temperatures, officials closed the retractable roof in the interests of player safety and public comfort. It's the first time a Grand Slam match has ever been played indoors. Flocking to waterholes was the most popular way Melburnians cooled off today. A suburban swimming pool stayed open all night, catering for hundreds seeking relief. Accused pedophile Philip Bell is in a South African prison tonight after being refused bail while an extradition hearing is undertaken. The case has been delayed while paperwork needed to extradite Bell is sent from Australia, but Bell intends to again apply for bail tomorrow.
Philip Harold Bell is brought to court, indicating he's prepared to come home and face his accusers.
How are you going to plead? I'm going back to Australia. Are you going to get a fire?
After an exhaustive 10-month manhunt, New South Wales police finally have the 62-year-old in court, charged with more than 200 child sex offences. The former Sydney businessman was arrested at home in the surfing town of Jeffreys Bay last Friday. But now the real battle begins to bring him back to Sydney. The court was told the paperwork needed to begin formal extradition proceedings hasn't been sent from Australia. The Federal Attorney General says the brief of evidence needs to be put together in New South Wales. but the state government is blaming Canberra.
Undoubtedly, extradition is a matter for the Commonwealth. New South Wales has supplied the requisite information, and the officers in the Commonwealth Attorney-General's Department are proceeding with the matter.
The delay means no formal extradition application has been made, so the magistrate could only rule on a bail application. The prosecutor told the court there were fears Bell would either kill himself or take off if released, but Bell's lawyer said his client should be freed because he intends to return to Australia anyway. Police claim there are 29 male victims aged between 11 and 17, but Bell maintains his innocence and is considering an appeal over the refusal of bail. He'll be back in court early next month. Mark Gibson, 10 News.
There are fears tonight a shark has killed a 41-year-old windsurfer off the north coast of Western Australia. A search for the German tourist was scaled down this afternoon after his shredded wetsuit was found at sea 18 hours after he disappeared. The man's windsurfer was also found about 9 kilometres north of Geraldton, an area notorious for sharks known as Hell's Gate. Treacherous surf conditions caused dozens of holidaymakers to be pulled to safety on Gold Coast beaches today. Among those rescued, 12-year-old Daniel Prosser from Brisbane, who was dumped by heavy surf into a sandbank.
He couldn't get up and he yelled my name and I had to get him out and he said he was having trouble breathing.
He was taken to hospital suffering suspected neck and spinal injuries. The dangerous conditions kept lifeguards busy. They have predicted a continuation of the big surf tomorrow. A court has been told motorists face death every day because truck drivers take stay-awake drugs to meet tight schedules. The hearing was told a truckie who killed 6 people in one of South Australia's worst ever road accidents used drugs on the day of the accident.
6 people were killed on this straight section of the Sturt Highway near Blanchetown when a semi-trailer ploughed into 2 cars. The truck was returning from Sydney to Adelaide. 30-year-old Brian Douglas Snewin has pleaded guilty to causing the deaths by dangerous driving. In sentencing submissions today, Snewin's lawyer Mark Griffin told the district court Snewin is deeply and horribly shattered by the accident. He said Snewin was using stay-awake drugs to meet his gruelling schedule. The court heard Snewin was like a time bomb ticking and at risk was the public on the road. Last month, Snewin's employer, WRB Transport, was raided by police and 4 company directors charged with supplying the drugs. Snewin faces a maximum penalty of 10 years behind bars, but Mr Griffin asked the judge for a suspended sentence. The prosecution, though, wants Snewin jailed, saying blood tests found he'd smoked marijuana hours before the accident. Prosecutor Steve McEwen said Snewin's driving was unbelievably appalling and he was an accident waiting to happen. Judge Lowry has labelled the allegations about WRB Transport as scandalous. Judge Lowry said while he accepts Snewin is shattered by the accident, he doesn't believe he can suspend his jail term. Snewin is remanded in custody for sentencing next week. Adrian Rochella, 10 News.
Prime Minister John Howard is hosting a dinner tonight for state premiers on the eve of a crisis summit sparked by the High Court's Wick ruling. John Howard is in for a tough day tomorrow, with Aborigines rejecting the Premier's proposal to extinguish native title land rights.
Aboriginal leaders met in Cairns today for an Indigenous summit on the Wick High Court decision. That ruling recognised Aboriginal native title rights to land also leased to farmers or to the mining industry. On the eve of the Special Premiers Conference, there was this blunt warning.
Extinguishment of the native title is out of question.
That issue is set to dominate the Prime Minister's crisis summit tomorrow, with Queensland's Rob Borbidge refusing to back down.
Are you still pushing for extinguishment?
Yes, I am.
And compensation is also on the agenda, with possible payouts costing billions of dollars.
So we want to get away from what is a ludicrous situation, money for titles. That's just not acceptable.
It's not something in which the Commonwealth ought to be stampeded into a set of actions which would provoke unnecessarily very large compensation payments by the taxation, effectively funded by the taxpayer.
The Premiers will present the PM with a package of options. All agree a solution must be reached.
We will become the laughing stock internationally if this uncertainty continues.
But resolving the uncertainty is still some weeks off, with Prime Minister Howe due to meet Aboriginal leaders early next month. Stephanie Kennedy, 10 News.
When the late night news continues, pomp and ceremony as Bill Clinton is sworn in for his second presidential term. A popular entertainer murdered in his own home. And a dramatic rescue as floods sweep through Los Angeles.
A town famous for one thing. You make lightning.
This is the first lightning strike I've ever seen that left behind a footprint.
Power that should not be unleashed.
Not the cows again.
Talk to me! The X-Files, 8:30 Wednesday on 10.
With its 2-litre, 139 brake horsepower engine and its sports tune suspension, Hyundai's new coupe is definitely not for the faint-hearted.
Share the thrills. Share the action. Share the laughs. Share the excitement. Share the fantasy. Share the adventure of the movies, only at Warner Brothers Movie World.
There were plenty of courses I could have done, but only one could teach me how to lead.
I expected to learn about managing others. What I didn't realise was how much I'd learned about myself.
Australia's finest leadership and management college is looking for the leaders of tomorrow. So give yourself an edge. Phone 13 1901. The Army, the edge.
This Thursday night, Powerball Lotto jackpots to an electrifying $5 million. So make sure you get your Powerball entry in and give yourself the power to win $5 million this Thursday.
Share the excitement of the ultimate thrill ride. Lethal Weapon. Only at Warner Brothers Movie World.
Is the CIA's top-secret installation at Pine Gap, Australia, the new dumping ground for UFOs from Nevada's infamous Area 51? And who really wields world power? Politicians, oil men, or the world's biggest banks? Conspiracy, 8:30 Thursday on 10.
Now to an update on the Victorian bushfires, and in news just to hand, a 12-year-old boy has died as a result of the bushfires. There are no other details available as yet. We will bring them to you as they come to hand. In other news, a Sydney entertainer has been murdered by two masked men who invaded his home unit overnight. The popular singer was pistol whipped and robbed, but managed to phone for help before he died.
Popular on the club scene, Anthony Malouf lived for music.
All our sorrow will leave far behind us there, and I know when we live.
I don't know why he'd be targeted. He's just too nice for someone to want to do that.
He was attacked around 10 last night by two men wearing stocking masks who knocked on his door. After he let them in, Malouf was bashed about the head with a pistol. The invaders demanded and got several thousand in cash. When they fled, the 39-year-old entertainer managed to phone girlfriend Teresa.
Badly pistol whipped, his injuries critical, Tony Malouf didn't have long to live when he left the home unit block, despite the efforts of his girlfriend and paramedics to keep him alive. He died in the back of the ambulance rushing him to St. George Hospital.
A lifetime friend fought back tears when told.
Can you imagine why anyone might treat him this way?
No.
Anthony Malouf's elderly parents were distraught early today.
I saw Mum crying and screaming and Dad screaming and everything like that, and then I knew.
Harry Potter, 10 News.
US President Bill Clinton has been sworn in for his second term in office at a lavish ceremony in Washington. Embarrassing scandals continue to dog the first couple, but tonight that was all forgotten as celebrations swept the country.
The first couple are doing the rounds of 14 inaugural balls tonight, their first stop, California. The president promised the audience he'd do his best in the coming years.
I can never thank you enough for your uncommon kindness to me and your support. And I'd like to give you a gift by terminating the speech and letting the First Lady say a few words.
The First Lady, dressed in a much-talked-about Oscar de la Renta gown, said her thanks. The celebrations had begun much earlier in the day as thousands of people braved near-freezing temperatures to witness William Jefferson Clinton claim his second term.
And will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Good luck.
President Clinton is the first Democrat in 60 years to celebrate two inaugurals. Today, he called for racial and political unity. President Clinton will soon be dealing with the scandals of Whitewater and the Paula Jones sexual harassment case. But today, they were temporarily shelved as Bill Clinton promised a smaller and more humble government. The daytime activities ended with the parade to the White House, with the Clintons walking the final few blocks. The 50-year-old president cannot serve another term, but he will lead his country into the new millennium. Michelle Stone in the United States for 10 News.
A dramatic rescue in Los Angeles today when flash flooding trapped two workmen in a wild river. The usually dry Los Angeles River became a raging torrent after recent rains. A wall of water caught two unlucky council workers by surprise. They scrambled on top of their cement truck as the torrent jammed it against a bridge pylon. With floodwaters rising, a helicopter crew was called in for a daring rescue, winching each man to safety. The two men were lucky to escape injury. 2,000 years after Julius Caesar invaded Britain, his lion is roaring again. The symbol of an empire long gone has been unearthed in Scottish mud. The lioness was discovered beneath an old Roman fort in Edinburgh. It's believed the sculpture once guarded the tomb of a high-ranking official. Archaeologists say it's one of the most significant pieces of Roman sculpture ever found in Britain. The Duchess of York is continuing her crusade for cash. Her latest money raiser, a fruit juice ad for American television.
When you're known for being high-spirited, you tend to attract a bit of attention.
This ad campaign netted the Duchess more than $1 million.
Light Star gives me a real zing, especially when I serve it with ice. Cheers.
It's the latest in a chain of low-fat commercial ventures aimed at trimming down Fergie's estimated $4.3 million overdraft. Last week, she made her debut as the US spokeswoman for Weight Watchers, joking about being labelled the Duchess of Pork by the British press. But the two 30-second cranberry juice commercials proved a bigger challenge. The Duchess reportedly fluffed her lines for one ad 102 times. On take number 103, they called it a wrap.
I'm so unconventional that instead of serving tea, I serve Ocean Spray Granapple juice drink. It has a distinctive taste that gives you a real zing.
The ads went to air for the first time in the US last night. Damien Curry, 10 News.
Still ahead in the late night news, a first-grade rugby league player awarded $25,000 after a racist slur. The end of the line, the Fair Star sails into the sunset for the last time. And in sports tonight, Australia's newest sprinting hope.
I'm going to show you something very important about your toothbrush with this tomato. Look, with any ordinary brush, it's easy to press too hard on your gums, which is why McLean's developed the brilliant new Flex brush. Only McLean's Flex has this unique pressure-sensitive neck that bends and flexes if you press too hard, so you can help prevent damaging your gums and still give your teeth a thorough cleaning. And as you know, healthy teeth need healthy gums. New McLean's Flex, it's gentle on gums.
At Volkswagen, when we launch a new car, we like to drop it. But because this new Polo is so solid, we thought we'd really drop it.
As you can see, it's spacious, aerodynamic, has 5 doors, 1.6-litre performance and power steering. But above all, Polo has German safety built in, with twin airbag standard, and all at a price that'll stop you in your tracks.
The new Volkswagen Polo.
The school, kids!
In summer uniforms!
Not made in Fiji or China, but made right here in...
Australia!
And where does Mum get them? Yeah. Aussie school shorts.
Shirts and blouses.
$10.99 each.
Unisex polo tops. $13.99.
Laboratory tested and rated for sun protection.
Black and school shorts. Made tough like him.
$12.99. Yeah.
You'll never believe who's coming to visit. John Travolta as an angel. Michael, he's an angel, not a saint.
Special advanced screenings January 24 to 27.
With an ordinary toothbrush, it's easy to press too hard on your gums. New McLean's Flex, however, actually flexes to help prevent damaging your gums, whilst still giving your teeth a thorough cleaning. New McLean's Flex. It's gentle on gums.
In finance news tonight, the Australian share market closed weaker as investors remain cautious ahead of an announcement by the US Federal Reserve. The Ordinary's finishing almost 14 points down. Among our leading stocks today, BHP dropped 25 cents, Lend-Lease plummeted 87 cents and News Corp fell 2. Among the banks, the Commonwealth gained 9 cents today, the NAB eased 2 and the ANZ climbed 1. The Australian dollar is tonight buying 77.78 US cents, 46.72 pence and 91.76 yen. Gold is trading at $353.65 US an ounce. The FT100 share index is down 20 points in morning trade. The Hang Seng and the Nikkei were both closed down a little weaker. Well, she's known as the fun ship and Australia's own love boat, and many a romance has blossomed on the high seas. But the sun is about to set on the P&O's Fair Star. After more than 2 decades, the glamorous old lady has set off on her final cruise before retirement.
For 23 years, she's graced the seas and captured the hearts of more than 1 million passengers. If you added up all the kilometres she's travelled, you could go to the moon and back 5 times. But it's all about to come to an end. P&O is pulling the plug.
Last cruise of Fair Star. A very sad day for us.
For most of the 1,200 passengers, the final voyage will be a cruise down memory lane. She's lived up to her image as the fun ship, some passengers being taken away more than 20 times.
Well, to me, and I think to a lot of people, it's going to be a sort of an Australian icon.
I'm in love with the Fair Star and all it stands for.
Some who have got marriages lasting more than 30 years. So I think you could say it is Australia's very own love boat.
The Fair Star is bowing out with a 10-day cruise of the South Pacific.
I'm really sad. I tell you what, when it comes in on Friday the 31st, you're going to have to drag me off.
The final fate of the Fair Star is still unknown. One option, a floating hotel. But for those who've chilled out sunning themselves on the famous fun ship, it's time for a fond farewell. Andrew Kirk, 10 News.
She's off. Weather details are still to come, and then at Sports Tonight with Bill Woods. Bill, Costa's you back home and vowing to fight on to protect that unblemished record.
Yes, Sandra, Costa willing to go to court to retain it. More on that shortly. Plus the Australian Open tennis and the big names warming up for the Johnny Walker Golf Classic.
Thursday.
How was your date?
Interesting.
Why, what happened?
How shall I put this? He took it out.
He what?
He took it out. You got any other friends you want to set me up with?
Seinfeld, 7:30 Thursday.
Well, they have a reputation.
I am telling you, nothing comes close to doing it with a pilot.
Absolutely, yes. He just went on and on.
Oh, yeah. I've got this pilot wrapped around my finger.
If you want to get 20% off bedding, 20% off towels, 20% off curtains, you can really clean up with 20% off the mark price on all Manchester at Target this week.
Trying to start a new career and don't know where to begin? Lorraine Martin College has been launching great careers for people of all ages for over 20 years, and yours could be next. Start on the road to a fabulous career and enjoy the success and freedom you deserve. Your career in hospitality, travel, graphic design, marketing, computers and public relations is waiting at Lorraine Martin College, the college where great careers begin. Call now for free career advice.
At Volkswagen, when we launch a new car, we like to drop it. But because this new Polo is so solid,
We thought we'd really drop it. As you can see, it's spacious, aerodynamic, has 5 doors, 1.6 litre performance and power steering, but above all, Polo has German safety built in, with twin airbags standard, and all at a price that'll stop you in your tracks! The new Volkswagen Polo.
You'll never believe who's coming to visit. John Travolta as an angel. Michael, he's an angel, not a saint.
Special advanced screenings January 24 to 27.
Smooth, slender, yeah, a pilot. I couldn't believe it either. I've done it with a few, but never. It's more a case of where didn't we do it? No, this pilot isn't a fling. I'm holding on to this one.
Turning to the weather now, and it was a cloudy day today in Cairns, Townsville and Darwin, wet in Adelaide and the Alice. It was fine in Brisbane, Sydney and Canberra, little hazy in Hobart today, and it was smoky and pretty warm in Melbourne. The satellite picture shows a band of cloud over WA, South Australia and Western Victoria. There are some patchy clouds over Queensland, but clear skies over New South Wales. An approaching low pressure system and associated trough will deepen over Victoria, dominating much of eastern Australia. So tomorrow we can expect rain in Cairns and 28 degrees. Townsville should have showers and 31, Brisbane should be fine and 28, Sydney fine and 29 degrees, Canberra should be dry and 33, and Melbourne a welcome cool change coming through with showers and 22 degrees. Firefighters will be happy. Hobart, rain and 21 degrees. Adelaide, showers 22. Perth should be fine and 29. Darwin, showers and 32. And in the Alice, a late shower and 31. That's all from the Late Night News team for this Tuesday, January the 21st. Stay with us now for Sports Tonight with Bill Woods. I'm Sandra Sully. Thanks for your company tonight. I'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
Tonight's Late News, brought to you by the Hyundai Coupe, a car that's not for the faint-hearted.
Never give up. Keep going.
10 News.
10 News. When news breaks, good friends always tell you first. Glenn Taylor and Marie-Louise Thiel with 10 News. First, at 5.
Sports Tonight, Tuesday, January 21. They're giving no quarter in the quarters. The Aussie Open lights up in week 2. Allenby's hoping against hope he'll be on the island for the Johnny Walker Classic. How much will that draw cost Zoo? He's back in town with lawyers in his corner. And meet our own Johnson. No golden boots, but an 18-carat future. Hello, welcome. I'm Bill Woods. Also tonight, the kick that cost $1 million. The saga continues. We'll have more on that. Bonding in Perth and the ultimate trifecta. But first, to tennis. And after the controversial move to close the roof on centre court, this evening it was reopened. Michael Chang and Marcelo Rios are currently playing under the stars. Chang in a commanding position. He leads by 2-0. Mary Pierce moved into the semi-finals after a 3-set duel with Belgian Sabine Appelmans. Wins also for Carlos Moya and Amanda Kutzer, while the Woodies are through to the last 4 in the men's doubles. But it's been an historic day, with the roof closed for the first time because of heat.
After keeping the roof closed all day, this was the scene which greeted the players and fans for the night session. Officials had said the roof would be closed all day, so as all players in the singles quarterfinals would enjoy the same conditions. But out of the blue, Pierce and Appelmans now playing in an outdoor tournament and were putting on a show. They shared the first 2 sets, and in the third, Appelmans raced to a 3-love lead.
It drops in.
Then she fell apart, serving successive double faults, 11 for the match. Pierce sensed Appelmans' concentration was slipping and had a bit of fun with the crowd.
Well, now they just threw the ball back.
Pierce levelled at 3-all and then broke Appelmans again to win the set 6-4 and set up a semi-final showdown with her doubles partner, Amanda Kutzer. The Chang-Rios match was expected to be a long baseline battle, and they didn't surprise.
Oh, beautiful.
But both still showed, for short guys, they can serve with the best of them. The first set went 11 games before either player looked like breaking. Then Chang stepped up.
Oh, he's on fire.
And in the earlier quarterfinals today, Carlos Moya continued his march through the tournament, beating Felix Mantilla in 4 sets. And Amanda Coetzer had little trouble beating Kimberly Poe in straight sets, her superior fitness giving the South African a decided advantage. But unlike tonight's matches, the afternoon games were played with the roof closed, with temperatures in Melbourne again nudging 40 degrees and strong hot winds making conditions unbearable. Organisers relented and agreed to close the roof. But Coetzer's coach, Gavin Hopper, was fuming.
I'm not happy about it, obviously, because she's done a lot of preparation and I feel like she's ready to play in 40 degrees heat, which she showed the other day playing Steffi.
Hopper believes conditioned athletes should be able to handle the heat in Melbourne and says officials have overreacted.
I like to think as a coach, you prepare for these matches. I made her work in the middle of the day in Africa so that we could, you know, at some point in time, you may need it in Australia. And I kept stressing that time and time again.
It's a view supported by the world's top 2 players, Pete Sampras and Michael Chang. Both claim it disadvantages those who've trained harder than others. But the controversy is set to escalate after the Australian doubles team of Woodford and Woodbridge played their quarter-final indoors. All the other qualifiers into the semis of the men's doubles had to do it the tough way, in the heat, on the outdoor courts. Officials deny favouritism, claiming it's the luck of the draw in doubles.
The man who instigated the Windies' revival in the 3rd test may be absent from the 4th. Curtly Ambrose is nursing groin and thigh injuries. Skipper Courtney Walsh confident Ambrose will be ready by Saturday, but it's a close thing.
With just 4 days until the 4th test in Adelaide, the West Indies pace battery is running low. Already Nixon McLean and Kenny Benjamin have been sent home with injuries. Now a cloud of doubt hangs over the fitness of star quick Curtly Ambrose.
I don't know how fit he's going to be, but I know that once he's playable, he's going to want to play. He knows the importance of the games in the finals, and we wanted to try and rest him for the finals to make sure he was all right for the test, and he wanted to play. And I'm sure that once he's available to play, once he's playable, he's going to play. So I'm not too concerned at the moment. I'll be concerned if he rings me tomorrow and says, well, Skip, I'm struggling then.
Ambrose, who is carrying groin and thigh strains, was forced to bat with a runner in last night's one-day final loss to Pakistan. And while Walsh insists Ambrose will play in Adelaide, he can't guarantee he'll be 100% fit.
He's getting treatment today. He's got tomorrow to get treatment as well, and he probably doesn't have to practice on Thursday if it takes him that extra day to make sure that he gets right. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, he'll get all the time he needs to be ready for Saturday.
Another worry for Walsh is the form of his batsmen. Chasing just 166 runs to square up the series, the Windies' bats faltered again, leaving their hopes of victory in the dark.
Yeah, we've got to regroup. I mean, you could look at the guys and know that everyone was disappointed, their heads were down and stuff. And, you know, there's not a lot you could have done last night more than just try to, you know, get the night over as quickly as possible. Some of the guys have probably gone to bed thinking about what happened, and I think, you know, we start regrouping, as far as I'm concerned, from tomorrow.
For Pakistan, the one-day win was sweet. It's first in 6 visits to Australia. The Heroes pacemen Wasim Akram and Shahid Nazir, who both took 3 wickets.
On the subject of injuries, Robert Allenby has even less time than Curtly to be fit for his next event, the Johnny Walker Classic at Hope Island. Allenby struggled through today's Pro-Am, hampered by a painful arm injury. Just recovered from his European car accident, Allenby is now nursing badly strained arm ligaments after a recent mishap.
A couple of weeks ago at the Victorian Open, on the Tuesday in the practice round, I was just messing around, throwing a few balls around. Threw one ball about 20 yards and pulled all the muscles in my right arm and in my right chest.
The former Australian Open champ kept the autograph hunters happy, but golf is a different story.
Long shots doesn't feel too bad. It's just mainly the short irons when I dig into the ground where it hurts the most.
If daily physiotherapy doesn't relieve the discomfort, he may be forced to withdraw.
I walked down the last 5 holes at the Vic Open on the Sunday with an ice pack on it, trying to get the swelling down and trying to play at the same time.
It seems back troubles are now well and truly behind American Fred Couples, who jetted in today with the remainder of the international contingent.
So far after this trip from LA to here, I feel pretty good. So I need to just be careful what I do today and maybe get loosened up and then come out tomorrow.
One of the best players yet to win a major, Fiji's Vijay Singh, towered over many on the practice tee. as did 1994 US Open champ Ernie Els, who already likes what he sees.
I really enjoy the Australian way of life down here. It's a lot similar to South Africa.
Scores were irrelevant today. Familiarisation the priority for the majority of the field. Bernhard Langer was a happier man following the delayed arrival of his clubs, describing the course as tailor-made for the big hitters.
I think players like Couples and Ernie Els probably have an advantage over some of the guys who hit it 20, 30 yards shorter.
Scotsman Colin Montgomery saw all parts of the links layout, while defending champ Ian Woosnam impressed off the tee. Nick Faldo was obviously still fine-tuning his new putting stroke, which at times proved a source of frustration. Fatigue was the only worry for the man certain to draw some of the largest galleries during the Classic, though, Long John Daly.
Nice and tired. A little bit. I don't know. I hadn't seen the course yet.
The tournament starts Thursday with exclusive live coverage here on 10. Yes, you can catch all the action of the Johnny Walker Classic live and exclusive starting from Thursday. And we're just teeing off here on Sports Tonight. After the break, a new boss for the South Queensland Crushers, plus Costa Zoo ready to wear the gloves in court. And the West Coast Eagles go bush.
Thursday on Sex Life, building the body beautiful.
I feel much more confident about myself.
Why women are becoming warriors.
The more muscular, the more attractive.
And see why experience really counts. What to expect from an older partner. Sex Life, 9:30 Thursday.
What'll it be?
One of those, thanks.
Pass the peanuts, mate.
Sure. What's with the elephant?
He came in and asked for one of these 4X light bitters.
And what happened then?
He drank it and asked for another one.
And what did you say?
I said, how come you're so fond of this 4X light bitter? He said, because it's chill filtered, to lock in the flavour.
I bet you were amazed.
I'll say, he usually drinks heavies.
4X light bitter, chill filtered, to lock in the flavour.
She's an amnesia victim whose past is coming back.
You're an assassin working for the United States government.
One bullet at a time.
Name's Charlie, the spy.
Gina Davis, Samuel L. Jackson, The Long Kiss Goodnight.
And Jack will make it through the super maze in just 30 seconds.
No worries with Energizer Sports Drink Instant Energy Replacement. Made from pure snowy mountain spring water. With the non-spill sports cap. In lemon, orange and mega berry. And it's the Aussie one. Energizer Sports Drink. It mightn't make you smarter, but it'll sure make you tougher.
Soundgarden, Down on the Upside, now as a limited tour edition, including a bonus 6-track CD. Down on the Upside, the awesome new tour edition album from Soundgarden. Get it now.
What'll it be? One of those, thanks.
Pass the peanuts, mate.
Sure. What's with the elephant?
He came in and asked for one of these 4X light bitters.
And what happened then?
He drank it and asked for another one.
And what did you say?
I said, how come you're so fond of this 4X light bitter? He said, because it's chill filtered, to lock in the flavour.
I bet you were amazed.
I'll say, he usually drinks heavies.
4X light bitter, chill filtered, to lock in the flavour.
Celebrate in the city on Australia Day at Southbank Parkland's Party On in the summer sun. There's Kodak Beach slides and rides. There'll be street entertainment, marching bands, the hip-hop horns and a fantastic fireworks display. At 8 p.m, the sky will light up with a tribute to Australian movies and music. Then stay on after the fireworks for more music, great restaurants and the special feel of an Australian summer night in the city. Southbank Corporation and Network 10 proudly supporting our community on Australia Day.
Join us on 10 as superstars of golf converge on Queensland's Hope Island Resort to battle Australia's richest ever golfing event. Tim Webster and Ian Baker Finch present the Johnny Walker Classic. Starts Thursday, live and exclusive to 10.
Welcome back. World champion Costa Zoo has returned home with the gloves still on. But the next bout may be in court. His world title defence was called a technical draw on Sunday. Zoo's supporters claim he won it and they want justice.
For a boxer so devastating in the ring, Costa Zoo is a pushover when it comes to family.
I'm home.
He's happy to be back, but the world junior welterweight champion is determined to right his blemished record.
I won very clear and I've done everything, nothing wrong. And everybody agree with me, but except referee.
Trainer Johnny Lewis watched a replay of the fight against Leonardo Mas almost as soon as he got home. His reaction, Zeus should have been given the fight.
He's saying, wait.
Zeus camp say referee Joe Cortez didn't say the word break before Mas was floored.
Second knockdown of the first round. No 3 knockdown rule in effect.
I'm adamant that he didn't say break, and after watching that, he's certainly saying something, but it's not break.
Kostya's next step will be to write an official complaint.
First of all, have to win this one. If it's need to, we're going to court.
We voiced our appeal then and there. We thought it was very undeserving, and now we're going to be putting it in writing as soon as I can get home and have a shower and get to the typewriter.
But Johnny Lewis isn't holding hope of winning an appeal.
Truthfully, I don't think they've got a chance. I just don't know if they've got the gumption to go against the referee.
Jeff Fennick flew back with Zoo, another victim of Las Vegas decisions in his infamous Azuma Nelson bout.
I know that, I never really came back after my disappointment, but I know this kid will.
Despite the decision, Zoo's camp planned to return to the US later this year. The lure of American dollars, too much to resist.
The public haven't supported Costa in the way that we think they should, so subsequently it means going back over to the Devil's Playground.
Kostya's likely to make his next title defence in New York. His opponent is yet to be decided.
The embattled South Queensland Crushers have a new boss and a new direction for 1997. Eric Larkso says the club is setting its sights on luring families back to football.
Since being thrown a lifeline by the ARL last year, the Crushers have regrouped and retargeted. They're not only surviving, but paying their bills.
That we are back in business in 1997.
New boss, former CSR Queensland Building Products General Manager Eric Larkso, comes to the Crushers as a schoolboy AFL footballer and cricketer, but with no rugby league playing experience, something he doesn't see as a drawback.
I'd like to suggest that I've perhaps played first-grade business, and that's the skills that I'll bring to the club.
New head coach Steve Bleakley and head conditioner Kelvin Giles will look after the football side of things, and with 2 premierships out of 4 grades last year, Larkso says the basics are there. His job is to bring the fans back to the home games at Suncorp Stadium, and he's targeting family.
What we want to do is take the club to the community and bring the community to the club.
With that in mind, gone is the Black Tie season launch this year. In its place, a family fun night at Amazon's this Sunday, where fans can meet and swim with all of the Crushers players, including the new signings. Visiting ARL troubleshooter Graham Richardson's impressed, especially with the new recruits.
I think the buying in the off-season has been better targeted than any other clubs, and they're going to do very, very well.
The first chance the Crushers will have to prove that is at the Coca-Cola Sevens in Sydney early next month.
Still on league, and Super League is expected to announce tomorrow which radio station will cover its matches. While the ABC is favoured, negotiations between the two parties stalled a bit today. The national broadcaster unhappy with a clause in Channel 9's contract to cover Monday night Super League matches. The clause prevents radio coverage of the same game. AFL and the West Coast Eagles have moved camp, but it's only a short-term shift. The club is currently in Nanga, south of Perth, engaged in a week of team bonding.
The tranquil surroundings of the Nanga Bush camp until the onslaught of the West Coast Eagles. The 42-man squad looking decidedly fit after a Christmas and New Year break from pre-season training. Toned they may be, but the day's activities would prove they're far from pioneer material.
They showed us how to find North, so as long as we know where that is, we're pretty safe.
North's a good start, and they all have long memories. Last year's camp misdemeanours gone, but not forgotten.
Last year, we followed Jason Ball and got hopelessly lost, and we're about 2 hours late back. But, yeah, Mitchell, I'm pretty confident with.
Don't give it to me. I'll get us lost. Yeah, you got us lost last year.
Estimated arrival at about 4, and I'd say that half of them will arrive about 5 or 6. That's just being on the smart side.
With this defender dressed for Desert Storm, plans of attack were made.
Do you actually have any idea? No.
It all sounded simple enough. Begin at one point, trek 25 kilometres and finish up back where you started from. But not for these AFL stars.
Gone 2 kilometres from home and we're lost already. Can't work it out.
Checkpoint number 1 and a search for the first clue. This group could be in for a long day.
It's Nanga Road, I hope you meet. West and south will keep things sweet. The clue and water, that's where they'll be. Got that? Very good. It's a lovely poem, anyway.
Well, they certainly look more at home on the football field, and the locals were delighted to see them. The Eagles aren't totally escaping from football this week. 2 training sessions at the local oval are reminded that their first Ansett Cup match is just 4 weeks away. Put through their paces for 2 hours last night, only a handful of players were unable to join in. Fitness levels on target for season 97.
It has to be a gradual build-up, but, you know, the intensity's certainly got to be lifted over the next 2 or 3 weeks to get ready for that, you know, that Geelong game.
Settle in. Still lots more to come on Sports Tonight. The Bulls' Dennis Rodman opens his purse. And a new country flyer.
In the city of San Francisco, when hostages are taken, you can do it the easy way, or you can do it his way.
Can I have a dozen donuts, please?
Eddie Murphy, Metro.
Lynx, Cardiff. Leather with non-marking rubber sole. Lynx, Plymouth. With leather upper. Lynx Power Cell Cod. With shock-absorbing cushion technology. Which one will you buy to get the water bottle and backpack for $5?
Whoa!
Get back to school with Lynx, the wildest thing on 2 feet. Howard Williams the shoeman, and Mathers for shoes.
Two awesome games that go on. Red Alert and Command and Conquer. Red Alert, Command and Conquer. Get ready for combat.
Perhaps you need another shot.
Hot town, summer in the city. Back of my neck getting dirt and gritty. Bend down, isn't it a pity? Doesn't seem to be a shadow in the city. All around the people looking half dead, walking on the sidewalk hotter than a match.
Attention, please! It's a summer alert. Make this your hottest summer ever instantly with Coca-Cola. Just look under the caps or in the cans to see if you've won.
Would you like to win fabulous prizes? Are you single and over 17? You can support kidney research by becoming an entrant in the 1997 Lions Miss Personality Quest. Call the Quest office now. Network 10, supporting our community.
You're watching Sports Tonight. Chicago Bulls star Dennis Rodman really did put his foot in it this time, and Eric Cantona thought he did it tough. Kicking a TV cameraman has set Rodman back another $250,000. That's how much it's costing him for an out-of-court settlement with cameraman Eugene Amos. That's on top of losing contract money with an 11-game suspension. All up, lashing out will cost him well over $1 million. The chief prosecution witness in the trial of English Soccer League goalkeeper Bruce Grobbelaar has told a British court that Grobbelaar talked about payment for match fixing. In custody due to another matter, Chris Vincent arrived in a police van to the first match rigging trial in England's 30 years. Vincent, an ex-business partner of Grobbelaar's, said that before their relationship turned bad, he visited the house of former player John Fashanu, where Grobbelaar allegedly received payment of £40,000 for fixing his team Liverpool's 3-0 loss to English First Division side Newcastle in 1993. Vincent then reportedly did a deal with the Sun newspaper for £35,000 to set Grobbelaar up. The court heard the pair visited a hotel room and began to talk about alleged match-fixing plans in an effort to capture the discussion on tape. The trial continues. Australian first baseman David Nilsson has agreed to a new 3-year contract with American Major League club the Milwaukee Brewers. The 27-year-old, who first signed with the Brewers organisation at 17, had an impressive season last year. He hit 17 home runs. TAB privatisation and jockeys' pay may be the two issues dominating city race talk, but out west, a rare treble still has tongues wagging. It happened in the 1,200-metre Imperial Hotel handicap at Cara on Monday, a triple dead heat. Only the fourth in Australia since the introduction of the photo finish camera.
Sleepers the outside, Sir Lawcrest the centre, and Bueller up along the rails. Sleepers the outside, Sir Lawcrest. Here's a great go. They hit the line. Almost a three-way dead heat.
Well, it was. After 20 minutes, stewards declared the race a three-way tie, connections of Churning, Sleepers and Sir Moorcrest sharing the prize money, and no doubt the cost of the celebration party afterwards. Stay with us, we're nearly there. After the break, our play of the day and Australia's newest sprinting hope. But first, let's take a look at the day's NBA results.
Coming soon, Australia's favourite, Gary Sweet, stars in the most anticipated new series for 97.
We're going to lose an engine.
Big Sky.
I've got to fly. It's all I've ever wanted to do.
The exciting new drama featuring an extraordinary first-class cast.
Who are you? I'm the chief pilot.
They're mavericks who'll do anything, anytime, anywhere.
Abort and go round. I can land this thing with or without the landing gear, you know that.
From the producers of Police Rescue.
You get that adrenaline rush every single time.
Big Sky. Coming soon to Channel 10.
Thanks a lot,
Link shower gel, because first impressions last.
Holiday is here on 10, and we're giving away a smorgasbord of jet-set holidays. A tropical holiday to Cairns at the Reef Casino could be yours this week. Last week, we gave away a trip to Adelaide or Melbourne for two nights flying Ansett Australia. And everyone has the chance to win one of 2 trips for 2 to Los Angeles flying Air New Zealand. We'll tickle your taste buds and cure the travel bug. All this and a whole lot more during the new Holiday, only on 10.
From the day you're born, you set out to live life. You play every sport there is, and then you still want something new. Well, these are new. New Blue Bolt and Kiwi Rush. Hey, you live life, you get thirsty. You drink Gatorade. Life's a sport. Drink it up.
This Thursday night, Powerball Lotto jackpots to an electrifying $5 million. So make sure you get your Powerball entry in and give yourself the power to win $5 million this Thursday.
Come on, Australia. Why don't we celebrate? Celebrate being Australian.
Welcome back. Well, a young North Queensland sprinter has set the athletics world reeling with an amazing start to his career. 24-year-old Patrick Johnson has come from obscurity just 3 months ago to be ranked among this country's best.
AIS track and field coach Esa Patola was passing a watchful eye over sprinters in the Australian University Games late last year when he spied a diamond in a field of quartz. A 24-year-old flyer dominating the sprints despite doing everything wrong. The surprise was that no one had ever seen or heard of the runner, Patrick Johnson, before.
The first round was 10:73, so that wasn't any sort of flashy, not a flashy time, and it was wind-aided. but the way how he ran, I was pretty impressed that this man's going to have a lot of talent.
The former head sprint coach of Finland went in to bat for Johnson to be given a full-time AIS scholarship. It was unheard of. He had no times to his credit. His only credentials was potential. Still, the AIS agreed Johnson was something special.
He's got a very good top speed, very relaxed top speed running, so and technically very competent once he's at the top speed. So that showed that he's got a lot of ability. Then he has fairly skinny legs to be a a top class sprinter, and that's a good sign. If you are running fast with skinny legs, you've got some talent there.
After just 3 months training under Patola, Johnson has shown amazing improvement, highlighted by his Optus GP win in Perth in a sizzling 10.29 on Sunday.
Athletics is something that I've always dreamed of doing. So at the moment, with the AIS helping along, I can follow my dreams, you could say. So just looking forward to that, and whatever happens from there will happen.
This Monday, Johnson gets an even bigger chance to impress. He's ready to meet the immortal Carl Lewis at the Sydney Grand Prix meet.
Now for our play of the day, and some people have 7 years bad luck, but for one umpire in Open it was 7 minutes, not like 7 years. Wimbledon's Martinez Terrabini against Davenport Raymond. At the changes, Terrabini was given a warning and proceeded to argue with the umpire. Now that's normal. Tournament referee Peter Bellinger and WTA Tour Director Georgina Clark had to become involved in the dispute. At one stage, Terrabini thought the umpire had laughed at her, but we can't think why. At the end of the 7-minute argument, the only thing to come out of it was a point penalty handed to Terrabini. It's certainly not the way to play the game, but it's still won our play of the day. And that's it for Tuesday, January 21. Don't forget, you can see the Johnny Walker Classic from Hope Island on Queensland's Gold Coast, live and exclusive on Network 10 from Thursday. That's where Tim is right now, but he'll be back tomorrow. Check your local guides for starting times. I'm Bill Woods. Good night.
The 19-year-old from Looks behind, and he's really playing with him.
A deadly virus on the rampage.
We have an outbreak to deal with.
Come face to face with danger on Sequest, 7:30 Friday.
Celebrate Australia Day on the River Stage at the City Botanic Gardens.
At the Lord Mayor's Gold Lotto Australia Day concert.
There's an all-Australian lineup featuring Christine Arnoux.
Got my eye on the brother hanging right outside his block. Feeling shame to ask his name, yeah, but I know that I don't hold back.
See TEN's Totally Wild team perform live.
Be part of Australia Day in the Gardens.
Network 10 supporting our community.